we're back with Rosenbaum Realty Group. I'm Tiffany and this is Daniel. And today we're talking about what are the pros and cons of eviction. Meaning there's actually a lot to both sides. I'd say the cons, let's go over cons first, okay? The cons to eviction is you're evicting a resident, meaning you're going to be vacant. And with an eviction, there's going to be more work because usually residents leave things behind, meaning there's going to be haul off. There's usually more damage because when someone falls on hard times, they're not always nice to the property. So you have cons there. Also, you have lawyer fees. You have the time. Because it usually takes about 4 weeks to get a resident out, and they're not paying during that portion. And then you have the vacancy of getting that property up and going. So that's a lot of cons. It's a lot of money involved to go through an eviction. Now let's go through the pros. There are a lot of pros to the eviction process. If someone's not paying, the faster you start that eviction process and the faster you get them out, the faster you can get that property back up and going and making you money again. So that is a huge pro to start the eviction process. And I would say that overshadows any con because of the fact that if you don't have a resident paying and they're in the property, what's the point of you having that rental property in the first place? It is to make money. That's just the truth here, okay? So if they're not paying, you have maintenance on that property. You have your mortgage on that property if you have a mortgage. You have insurance on that. You have all these other expenses that you're paying out of pocket. The point of this is to have a paying resident that pays for those things and to make you a return. That is the point of it. So again, the pros and cons. What would you say if there's another pro and con out there, Daniel?
The more you prolong the process to evict a non-performing resident, the worse it is for you. So definitely be consistent about it. The pros far outweigh the cons. Of course, it's not fun when you have to deal with a non-performing resident, but you absolutely need to evict. You need to take that action. You need to get options. You need to get that renter out there if they're not going to work with you. Otherwise, you're just prolonging the inevitable of your property is not performing. You're not getting a return on your investment. You're not having the property pay you any type of income until that bad renter is out. So you definitely need to take the time and take the process to get a bad resident out if they're not paying the rent, and the benefits far outweigh any the pros far outweigh any cons if there are any as far as cons go for evicting. You definitely need to take the process for a bad resident to get them out, period.
Well, what's interesting about the pros and cons, the pros about going through the process quickly, it actually helps the cons go quicker. Because no matter what you do, going through the eviction process, you're going to have those cons, whether you wait a month, 2 months, you're just going to be without more money. So go through the process as fast as possible. Make sure that you go through the pros to get them out so you can actually start having a rental income again.
A pro to not evicting would be if you want to avoid any type of conflict, period. And the only pro is if you were going to try to do this on your own. But the problem is you're going to get stabbed in the back. The reason why you're going to get stabbed in the back is because they're going to promise you they're going to be out. Oh, I'm going to be out next weekend. And they'll keep telling you this weekend after weekend, and they'll keep prolonging it. So again, there's not really any good pros for not evicting somebody.
Yeah. And it is very important that you don't take anybody's word for anything. When you're dealing with the eviction process, it's only paperwork, meaning they can say what they say, but you have to have it in writing. So go through the process, do the eviction process, get the pros on your side, and get somebody in there that's actually going to be making your property make you a better ROI.